Welcome back to the Passage Podcast. Today we're going to be diving into a passage found in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 6 through 8. A passage that speaks volumes about how God works through each of us in different ways. And ultimately, it is He who brings forth growth. Let's read it together. Paul writes, I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. So neither he who plants is anything, nor he who waters, but God who gives the increase. Now he who plants and he who waters are one, and each other one will receive his own reward, watch this, according to his labor. This is such a powerful message about the roles we play in God's kingdom. Paul, the author of this letter, is writing to the Corinthian church, which had some division over who they followed as far as spiritual leaders go. Mainly, the two choices they had were Paul or Apollos. Paul makes it clear here that neither one of them who plants nor he who waters is the actual source of life. It is God who brings the increase. Let's think about a few things. First of all, consider our role in God's work. Paul's reference here to planting and watering shows us that everyone has a role to play. You might be planting seeds through the faith of sharing the gospel, or you might be watering those seeds by helping someone to grow in their understanding. Both, hear me again, both are essential, but they don't cause the growth. That's God's part. It's a great reminder for us not to get caught up in who does what or even who gets the credit. Each of us serve God in a different way, but the results are always up to Him. This truth helps to keep us humble and focused on what really matters, and that is faithfulness in the service to God. Also, consider the reward for our faithfulness. Verse 8 says, each one will receive his own reward, watch this, according to his own labor. God sees the effort we put into His work, and He promises to reward us, not based on results, but based on our faithfulness. The growth may not be immediate, or we might not ever see it in our own eyes, but you can trust that God is bringing growth. God is using our efforts for His glory. Now, with that being said, here are a few ways you can apply this passage in your life. Number one, stay focused on your part and not the outcome. You can't control how someone responds to the gospel, but you can control how faithfully you share that gospel. Keep doing what God has called you to do and trust Him for the results. Number two, work together, not in competition. Remember, Paul says, he who plants and he who waters are one. They're one. They're together. We are all a part of the same mission. So instead of comparing our roles with each other, let's encourage one another as we serve together. That's the key. And finally, number three, and perhaps most important, trust God for the growth. No matter how hard you work, only God can bring true transformation in someone's life. So be patient, pray, and trust Him to bring the increase in His perfect timing. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, your labor is never in vain in the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58. And He sees every seed that you plant and every bit of watering that you do. So stay faithful, stay humble, and trust God to bring growth.